the trade deadline 12 days away, the Arizona Cardinals have still yet to address the biggest need on the Arizona Cardinals defense. What are the Arizona Cardinals going to do to try to fill in that need? Let's dive into the most recent comments from Monty Ossenfort on 98.7 Arizona Sports. Let's get started. Back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals throughout the entirety of the 2024 season, so subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. Alright, everyone, let's go and dive right into it. Let's go ahead and talk about why the Arizona Cardinals have refused to address the biggest need for the Cardinals heading into the 2024 season. I want to be very clear. The plans for the D-line just in general have been very unfortunately riddled with injuries. A couple of the free agent acquisitions that we brought in, Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones on season-ending IR. We got our first-round pick in Darius Robinson, which was said to play all over the line. He is not yet to make an appearance yet, heading into week 8. Hopefully we're going to see his debut coming in week 8, but we don't 100% know. Of course, with the news of Azeez Ojulari in the beginning of the season, and now the most recent news of Dennis Gardeck now landing himself on a season-ending IR as well. We've been very much riddled with injuries on that whole defensive line just in general, right? Now, it's that position as well as our right side of the offensive line. It's just a lot of turnover, a lot of injuries that the Cardinals need to try to find a way to patch up or try to find a solution, right? Now, the biggest question out there right now and what Cardinal fans are saying, especially in the last video that I posted about the Cardinals signing a practice squad quarterback, people saying, does he play edge, right? Why hasn't the Cardinals addressed the edge position, right? So I wanted to kind of be very clear in terms of, my stance on this whole situation on, do I feel like the Cardinals need to go after an edge rusher? Now, Monty Ossenfort did jump on 98.7 Arizona Sports, I believe it was last week, speaking about this specific topic, and this is exactly what he said.
Monty Ossenfort, Monty, as we get close to early November with the trade deadline, I know there's still a couple games left before then, but how do you approach that? Are you focused specifically on what happens in these next two games? Does that impact your philosophy on November 5th, or is it kind of already working?
Yeah, Luke, I think with the trade deadline, just around the league in general, I think a lot of conversations happen and really a lot of them end up being more exploratory than actual action. And I think as with anything, there needs to be two parties that agree to the trade, right? And so, I think a lot of teams are looking at that and making conversation or having conversations, and that'll continue here for the next couple of weeks until the deadline here in early November. So, as with anything that we do, it's got to be a situation that makes sense for us. The cost of it versus not doing the deal versus doing the deal, and so those are all conversations that we'll continue to have and see if it makes sense for us to go down a road. And so that's certainly a part of the league year that's coming up here. It's the same for everybody, and so those conversations will continue here over the next couple weeks.
Now, what we've seen so far from this Monty Ossenfort regime, starting in 2023 and then 2024. He's not really known for big splashy moves, right? Now, I do believe that the Cardinals need to go after some sort of edge rusher, right? I understand that the plans heading into 2024 were riddled by injuries, but what makes a great GM is being able to adjust to what you need to do, right? Now, obviously, we didn't plan for all these injuries that happened, but for the most part, this defensive side of the ball, now, yes, very inconsistent, right? Or at least we're seeing some inconsistencies with either getting blown out or holding teams to 0 points in the second half, or overall not allowing a team to get a touchdown on them. So it's very kind of night and day when we're talking about this defense. We don't really know exactly what defense is going to be showing up here on Sundays, Mondays, or Thursdays, but one thing that we do know is that our defense does have heart, right? That the scheme does work. Now, what I'm looking for here from my front office and my general manager and Monty Ossenfort, I am hoping that he does have something under his sleeve, right? Now, I know there's a lot of names out there being thrown around like Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, which are big names out there for a potential move, especially in the trade deadline coming about 12 days away from recording this video. I do believe that the Cardinals need to be in some sort of market for a pass rusher. I truly do. Now, for those people out there saying that the Cardinals, are not going to make a Super Bowl, or the Cardinals aren't going to be playoff teams, or this is not the Cardinals' year, you also got to think about the future as well, right? The Cardinals need to be in a situation where they are backing up their quarterback. Now, right now, we're 3-4 in the division, and truth be told, this division isn't very good. So this division potentially could be won with maybe 9-10 wins. Now, can the Cardinals do that? That's remained to be seen, but I really would love to see our general manager make a move to show this team that, hey, we believe in you and we're providing you reinforcements to shore up that defensive side of the ball. Now, our offense, yes, of course, has been kind of shaky, which they're supposed to be the bright spot of the 2024 Arizona Cardinals. That's not been the case, and there's still a lot of inconsistencies there, but I would love to see some sort of movement from our front office to show this team that they have their backs. Now, here's the thing, right? Can the Arizona Cardinals go after a big splash move like Myles Garrett or maybe even a Max Crosby? Right now, where the Cardinals are sitting in terms of the cap space, per over the cap, they have about $19.5 million left in open cap space. So Myles Garrett probably will not be attainable with that amount of cap space, but let's call it like it is. If the Cardinals want to do something like that, they can definitely maneuver the cap, renegotiate contracts, restructure contracts, whatever they decide to do. But we know how the Bidwell family is. It probably won't be attainable unless the Cardinals truly want to do it. Now, Max Crosby, on the other hand, right? He's definitely one of those guys that are getting paid upwards of a lot of money. So we might not be able to afford it unless the Cardinals absolutely want to do it. But let me throw some other names at you guys, right? For example, talk about some players that, are going to be cheaper. Obviously, that they're probably going to get a big payday sooner rather than later, but maybe potentially going after a Azeez Ojulari. And yes, that is the brother of our edge rusher and BJ Ojulari. It would be really cool to kind of see the brothers duo in the edge. Right now, Azeez Ojulari in the 2024 season has 8 solo tackles, 4 sacks. He stands 6'3", 240 pounds, and he's 24 years old. This kid is absolutely young and has got the potential to be a really good edge rusher here in the NFL. Now, obviously, he needs some pieces around him to flourish into the edge rusher that we all need him to be. But, why not take a swing like somebody like him, right? Already 4 sacks in the season. That's already more than most of the guys that we have currently on our defensive line in total. So maybe getting an Azeez Ojulari would make sense for the Cardinals if they're looking for more of a frugal option. Or why not a Za'Darius Smith? Now, Za'Darius Smith is 32 years old. This might be one of those moves like a Matthew Judon, which obviously the Atlanta Falcons ended up sniping him away from the Cardinals for a potential trade. I'm not sure if they were going to go after him, but that was definitely a player that I had in my mind as well. But Za'Darius Smith right now is 6'4", 270, 32 years old, definitely more of a band-aid kind of fix, but 12 solo tackles, 4 sacks, a guy that's definitely very much has a very high motor. And being the fact that our defense is one of those defenses that we like to kind of alternate edge rushers, we're not going to use them 100% of the snaps, right? But if we can get a very impactful sack one time a game, like that would be absolutely amazing for us to potentially go after a Za'Darius Smith. Now, like I said, he's more of a band-aid guy. I probably won't pay him long-term. And if they do give him an extension, maybe a 1 year. But in Azeez Ojulari would probably be under the understanding if he actually has a really good year, then the Cardinals could potentially make him a long-term deal, right? And I'm talking about a 3 or 4 year deal if the Cardinals decide to do something like that. So yes, do I want the Arizona Cardinals to go after a pass rusher? 110%, and absolutely, because I want this front office to show this 2024 team that, hey, we got your back. We believe in you guys. We've seen enough that you could potentially make a run in the NFC West. Now, here's the thing, right? It might be really under the understanding that the Cardinals might be able to get back to 500 versus the Miami Dolphins team. Now, right now, Tua Tagovailoa seems to be trending in the right direction to play in Week 8. Can he have some rust? Yeah, he absolutely can. Can the Cardinals go into Miami and actually come out with the win? Yeah, there's a slight possibility for that to happen. But here's the thing. Maybe that's what the front office is waiting for. Maybe they're looking for a little bit more consistencies for the Arizona Cardinals, because during that same interview, Monty Ossenfort was also asked about, how he feels about the 2024 Arizona Cardinals. And one of the big frustrations that he's dealt with is inconsistencies from the Arizona Cardinals so far. So maybe he's looking for a level of consistency with this team in order for us to potentially make a move like that, whether it's a Za'Darius Smith, whether it's going to be Azeez Ojulari, a Myles Garrett, or maybe a Max Crosby. Maybe that is what he's waiting for at the end of the day, maybe to go back to 500 and actually fight the Miami Dolphins really tough. Because let's call it like it is. I don't know why the Cardinals always try to pluck people off people's practice squads or kind of sign somebody off the streets instead of going after a guy and making an actual solid trade to upgrade this defensive line. Now, of course, I think we're all excited to see what Za'Darius Robinson can do, but I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket. I want to make sure that he's got a very, very solid defensive line so he can flourish. He doesn't have to be that sole X factor to make sure that pressure is caused. He's a rookie at the end of the day. We need to bring in some veterans that can do it in the NFL, that can cause constant pressure, but not just that, bring down the quarterback on the opposing side, because that's really, really important. We've seen games where this defense can get back there. We're just not able to wrap them up. And we also seen games where our defense struggles, right? Because we're allowing those quarterbacks to stay in the pocket for, it seems like, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds back there. So we need to get a constant pass rusher back there. And I'm looking for the future as well, right? Maybe a Za'Darius Smith won't be for the future, but if you go after an Azeez Ojulari, a Myles Garrett, or maybe even a Max Crosby, you can have that plan for 2025. And guess what? You got BJ Ojulari coming back. He's still on a rookie deal. You got Za'Darius Robinson. Hopefully he has a really good remaining part of his rookie year. And automatically your defensive line is upgraded, right? With your X factor you decide to bring in. You got BJ Ojulari, which is on the other side, and then you got Za'Darius Robinson. Then you got those other free agent acquisitions that we just got this last year that unfortunately landed themselves on the IR, and Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols. Defensive line is automatically that much better. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts here? Do you want Monty Ossenfort to go after a edge rusher like I do? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.